Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back in a video today, and we are going to be talking about. I'm going to be doing my Houston Texans preview for their matchup against the Tennessee Titans tomorrow at 12 o'clock. And honestly, it feels weird to be doing this on a Friday. Usually do this on a Saturday night because the game is on a Sunday, but tomorrow is unique. The Texans play on a Saturday, and so do a lot of teams. Only 3 games on Christmas, which I do like that. I don't think everybody should be playing. A lot of people should be home with their families. So I like the way how the NFL put out over 8, I think maybe 8 games this week on Saturday, and then you got 3 on Sunday. So I think that honestly that I know we all love football on Sunday, but I think these guys deserve most of these guys deserve around the league deserve to be with their families. It just sucks that three or 6 of those teams have to be playing a game. But football and Christmas it's been a couple years since we've had that, hasn't it? But yeah, going into this game, I think there's a lot of things that we will talk about the Texans going into this one. I think that there's a lot of factors for the Texans to try to win this game, try to get an upset, try to, kind of, I'm not going to say do a favor, but try to help the Jags take the lead in the division. Personally, in my opinion, like, I know you're not supposed to root for other teams in your division. Personally, I want the Jags to win the division because I really don't want to see the Titans in the playoffs. I do not like the Titans at all. It's like not even. It's not like I don't hate the Titans. It's like I know a lot of my family knows a lot of people in Nashville, so it's not like I hate the Titans. It's just like I don't think they're a good team. I know I shouldn't be talking. I'm a Texans fan. We are 1-12-1, but I just don't think they're a team that deserves in the playoffs. And here the Jaguars are playing great against good teams. So I think the Jaguars are the worthy of making the playoffs. I don't think the Titans would win one game. And I'm not saying the Jaguars would, but I think they'd have a better shot at beating whoever is at that 5 seed than the Titans would. I think that they only have one good part of their game, and that is Derrick Henry. And, sometimes that good game doesn't work out. Ryan Tannehill's out for the season. And Malik Willis, I think that he could be a good quarterback in the future, but I don't know with them. It's just all right. Let's move on. We're gonna go over the injuries for the Texans. So obviously Nico Collins, Damian Pierce, Nico Collins, and Derek Stingley Jr. are all out for the season. They're on the IR. Now, our 2 other best wide receivers, Brandon Cooks and Chris Moore, are both questionable for tomorrow. I don't know if both will be able to go, but I will say the Texans need one of those guys to play because they need one of those wide receivers right there. Preferably both, but the Texans, with both of those guys being questionable, if both of those guys are out, I don't know who's their Davis Mills has to throw the football to. Who's the number one then? Amari Rodgers? I mean, I like our Amari Rodgers, but wide receiver number 1. I don't even know who would be the 2 or the 3 then. So if Chris Moore and Cooks are out tomorrow, the Texans got a problem. Steven Nelson is also questionable. I think he's missed a couple games recently, but it'd be nice to see him come back, see what he can do. He's had a great year, a really good year with the Texans. I actually like to see the Texans bring him back next year. So those are your injuries. I mean, and then you got a bunch of IR injuries that have been out. Wait, is Jonathan Gennard back yet? I think he's still on the IR. Just a bunch of other guys that have been on the IR. So yeah, let's get into my keys of the game for the Texans in this game tomorrow. Honestly, I feel like the only way there is to stop the Titans is stop the run, and that's been a problem the last 3.5 years for the Houston Texans is stopping the run. Derrick Henry's been a problem. I barely want to talk about this game earlier in the season. But earlier in the season, when the Texans matched up against the Titans, I thought the Texans should have had a win. Their offense didn't have a good game. One of their worst offensive games of the season. It was disappointing, but I will say is that the Titans, their offense wasn't good either, but they were keeping the ball away from the Texans. I think I saw there was a comparison of game time that the Titans had and the Texans had. Titans had the ball for 38 minutes in the game. The Texans had the ball for 22. Titans played keep away from the Texans, and the Texans couldn't stop the run. I will say I think the Texans have gotten better at stopping the run since this matchup. I think that obviously it's not like it's amazing, but they've been better at stopping the run. And this time, if they've studied and realized what's going to happen, Malik Willis is a quarterback that did not. I think he threw like 11 passes in that game. It was just hands off to Henry, hand off to Henry, hand off to Henry. So if the Texans can figure out that's what they're gonna do again, I don't know. Maybe they don't do it again, but figure it out. Be able to stop it because last time they didn't. They just let them keep doing it, and I just couldn't watch it. So can the Texans finally figure out to stop Derrick Henry tomorrow? And that would be the biggest factor in this game. I really do. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think what else do you got to do? You got to be productive on offense like you've been the last couple weeks. You've had really good weeks. There's just a couple mistakes you've made in the last couple games that have cost you two of the biggest upsets of the season. Like literally not for just your team, but for the whole NFL. You had the two biggest upsets of the whole NFL. Right in your hands, in both the Cowboys and then in the Chiefs in overtime with the Davis Mills fumble. So you were coming off two really great games against two really good teams. So keep that going. That's what you got to do. You got to keep it going. I like the system that they've ran with Jeff Driscoll and Davis Mills. I say keep that going as well. Why not? The Texans are without Dameon Pierce. Let's use our little. I'd like to call Jeff Driscoll our baby Taysom Hill. He's not as good as Taysom Hill, but he's decent. And I think the Texans should work on him this offseason. Get him like. Try to get him like Taysom Hill. Like we haven't seen it all in the two games since they've been doing this Jeff Driscoll thing. But I want to see like maybe a pass be thrown to him. Like you always see Taysom Hill getting the ball thrown to him. Can Jeff Driscoll do that? I mean, if you felt comfortable to put him at the tight end position last year at the end of the year, then I think you'd be comfortable to maybe throw a pass to him. I think it could be. I think maybe it would work for the Texans. I don't think they do it at all though. But just keep doing what you're doing. Have a good running game. I don't think the Texans had a decent. They had a decent running game against the Chiefs last week. Not the best, but I think it kind of showed that they were hurting without Dameon Pierce. But yeah, so yeah, let's move on to my prediction. And I did this last time the Texans-Titans played. I said the Texans would win because Malik Willis was starting, and I am going to continue to say that. I just think that the Texans get their last win of the season here, and then they lose out. So I think ultimately, I think the Texans beat the Colts. So I think the Texans they find a way to get an upset against the Titans here tomorrow. Go to 2-12-1, then get their. Sorry for saying this, but get their ass kicked against the Jaguars the next week, then go to 2-13-1, and then play a really bad Colts team on the road against last game of the season. I think you get the win there too. So I think the Texans ultimately finish 3-13-1. I could be totally wrong, but that's just my opinion. I think the Texans definitely win one more of these games. I think you definitely beat the Colts. I think that's a guarantee. The Colts have been awful. The Colts, you might say that the Colts have been awful than us. They just got a couple more wins. But they got the worst loss in the NFL history last week. So I think the Texans finish off decent of the year. They've already finished off decent with these last two games. I think tomorrow they get a decent win. I could totally be wrong, but honestly, I don't think the Texans will stop the run, and that would probably be the reason why the Texans would lose this one. But I am going to go with the Texans winning this one 2017. I think their offense continues to do good things. I think that they're decent at stopping Derrick Henry, but I think Derrick Henry has a monster game. That's it for the video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts. I'm going to say 2017 Texans, but there's a chance that that doesn't happen, but we'll see. I think Malik Willis is a quarterback that needs a lot of learning in this league, and I know Mills is a quarterback that needs a lot of learning in this league, but as well. But I just think that I haven't seen a lot from him since, I watched, of course, I watched his first start against the Texans. I watched the Sunday Night Football game when he played the Chiefs. And I think that's it. Maybe he made another appearance for a little bit. I didn't see that. So I saw his first two starts. I watched this kid. I think he's I'm not gonna say scared to throw the ball, but I think there's some things he's got to work on, and maybe tomorrow he just comes on and full on beast against the Texans and just throwing lasers, but. Hopefully not. That's it for the video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace out. Go Texans. Give me y'all's prediction.